With the recent launch of Shadow of the Erdtree for Elden Ring and it being one of the best or maybe even the best DLC of all time, it got me thinking, what are some of the best DLCs ever? Blood and Wine is the GOAT. The DLC part of a game is maybe when the developers have the most freedom. They take the foundations of the game and can do it even better while creating a whole new story. So, without wasting much more of your time, let's go! That The Witcher 3 is one of the greatest games of all time, we can all agree, but the DLCs are also something very worth of your time. Hearts of Stone is the first of two DLCs, and it has a much more darker narrative and atmosphere, a completely different tone than the normal game, much due to the new characters. These two here have some of the best writing in the game. The story starts very simple. Geralt takes on a contract of a man named Olgierd von Everec, and the contract goes very wrong. Geralt is kidnapped and meets a strange man, Gaunter O'Dim, who helps him escape in exchange of Geralt fulfilling 3 wishes for Olgierd von Everec, who already did a deal with Gaunter O'Dim, granting him immortality. After fulfilling the 3 wishes that seemed very impossible, Geralt saw that Olgierd was once a noble man. He became cold and bitter because of the cost of the deal for immortality, which was the destruction of everything he once held dear and the Heart of Stone. You see, the name of the DLC. Wow. In the very end, Geralt faces a tough choice: help Olgierd break free from his pact with Gaunter O'Dim by solving a very cool riddle, or allow the Mirror Master Gaunter O'Dim to take Olgierd's soul, as it was in their original agreement. If Geralt lets Gaunter O'Dim claim Olgierd's soul, he of course dies, Olgierd in this case, and Geralt is rewarded with a very valuable reward of our choice. And the very cool fact is that if you finish the DLC Hearts of Stone before finishing the main story, in one of those valuable rewards Geralt can choose to know where Ciri is. And the thing is that Gaunter O'Dim doesn't actually tell Geralt where Ciri is, he just leaves a clue for Geralt to find her. But if we help Olgierd and challenge Gaunter O'Dim, Olgierd regains his mortality and his humanity, and Gaunter O'Dim is expelled from our world. And we get this very cool cutscene of talking in his native language, or what appears to be his native language.
Gotcha. Be gone. You've lost.
Oh, and also Geralt gets this very cool sword who was once Olgierd's. Hearts of Stone is such a masterpiece. I think I even like the story of Hearts of Stone more than the one on the base game. It has such good storytelling with one of the best written and intricate characters of the franchise. And of course I'm talking about Gaunter O'Dim, but I wanna do a video on him later in the channel. The DLC offers new equipment, new side quests, which are awesome, and what I like the most, the atmosphere of the DLC is something else. Nothing in the game can match up to it. Valhalla was announced out of nowhere, and a few days later was released for free. And what's not to like? A God of War DLC with a roguelite mode, and may I repeat, in Valhalla, to which Kratos was invited to, by a mystery person. Here we lose our armors, equipment, stats, basically everything. And as we die, repeat, die again, we get better stats and perks. Valhalla is a story for Kratos and Kratos only. All the enemies are past enemies that Kratos once defeated, including some Greek ones. Oh, and sometimes Mimir is replaced by none other than Helios, and honestly that was so clever from Santa Monica. Helios that is so iconic and their interactions are gold. Not better than Kratos and Mimir though. After many challenges from the past, we find out who invited Kratos. It was Tyr, but this time the real one. The boss fights against him are some of my favorite in the game. I think him reaching for weapons from other mythologies is so cool, and a way of hinting to a visit to those other mythologies. I hope so. Every little thing we see with a reference to Greece is honestly a punch of nostalgia. The enemies, the scenery, every little detail. But most importantly, we get to see Kratos confronting his past self. He sees himself on the throne he once sat. He didn't forgive himself, he chose to be better. In the moment I saw this cutscene, I cannot describe how I was. The only thing I can think about was that I was at a loss for words. This monologue that Kratos does is one of the most special things in the franchise. And we go back to The Witcher 3. We already saw Hearts of Stone and now it's time for the GOAT of DLCs, Blood and Wine. That is almost a Witcher 3.5 because of all the new things it brings. A new huge and beautiful map which brings the best region in the game, new sets of armors which are the best armors in the game, new mutations for Geralt, one of the best quests in which Roach actually talks, awesome characters, a home for Geralt, it's just so many things. It's the best. And the story starts not like a normal contract would, because Geralt is requested to do a contract by the Duchess Anna Henrietta to investigate a serial killer in Toussaint. The feeling of arriving in Toussaint is unmatched. Honestly, I still get chills with this. Arriving there, Geralt finds out that the serial killer is a vampire. Not a normal one, a higher vampire. And now knowing the pattern of the killer, Geralt encounters him, right on the act. And this chase scene is so well done, it's very badass. And even more badass is this scene, where the Beast of Buckler talks with Geralt. And the fight is awesome. Fighting against a higher vampire is just so cool. And the ambience, the music is perfect. The boss fight is not that difficult. And out of nowhere, another vampire appears and stops the fight, and that vampire is Regis, an old friend of Geralt and the best character in the game, not counting Geralt, of course. And talking with Regis, we discover that the killer is actually Detlef, a friend of his, and he is killing all these people because someone is manipulating him. Geralt finds out that Detlef is being controlled by Syanna, the sister of the Duchess Anna Henrietta. Syanna has resentment towards her sister and is orchestrating the murders by manipulating Detlef to destabilize Toussaint. In the end, now that Detlef is attacking the city with full force to get his revenge on Syanna, the story gets very complicated. Geralt has to do a choice. Or, not a choice, many choices. He can go see the Unseen Elder, the most powerful vampire ever, or he can enter the Fairy Tale Land. You see why Blood and Wine is so magical? If you go see the Unseen, Detlef is forced by him to meet Geralt, which ends in a big battle. If we go to the Fairy Tale Land and uncover all the mysteries, Syanna will survive the Detlef attack and Geralt will fight him. There are many other choices and many other consequences, but I'm not covering all of them today. If you want a more in-depth video of Blood and Wine, just tell me in the comments. This boss fight against Detlef is one of the hardest in the game, but I love it. Of course, this is The Witcher, so there are multiple endings. The not that bad one where the sisters live and Geralt is honored by his choices, the bittersweet ending where Syanna or Anna Henrietta die, and the tragic ending where both the sisters die. Blood and Wine has more detailed endings and more consequences in the endings depending on your choices, but as I said before, if you want a video about it, tell me in the comments. So, these were 3 DLCs that I loved, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think all of them are better than the actual game, but they are great. And tell me, what is your favorite DLC of all time?